Welcome back to Just Scrap Radio on bjpen.com. I'm your host, Cole Shelton. Episode 30, we have a stacked show for you ahead of UFC 259. We're first joined up by the UFC light heavyweight champion in one half of the main event, Jan Blachowicz, to preview his fight against Israel Adesanya. We talk about Adesanya moving up, whether he thought Glover Teixeira was going to get the shot. Really insightful stuff from Jan, who thinks he just has the power to shut out Adesanya's lights. He doesn't think Adesanya will be able to last very long a light heavyweight. It's a different kind of power. It's a big step for Adesanya to go up 20 pounds, but this is a fascinating fight, and Jan's ready for it. We're then joined by Drew Dober to preview his main card fight against Islam Makhachev. Drew Dober knows it's pretty simple. The UFC wants Islam Makhachev to win. They think he's Khabib's kind of protege, but this is a shot of redemption for Drew Dober. He knows, you look at his career, he's struggled against grapplers, OAM, Beneil Dariush. This is his shot to kind of prove everyone how much better his wrestling has gotten. And he also thinks he has the power he only needs one punch and he can knock out Islam Makhachev. We're then joined by Kenney to preview his prelim fight. Yes, this is a prelim fight against Dominick Cruz. This is how stacked this card is. Dominick Cruz fighting on the prelims, but this is a big opportunity for Kenney. He's kind of surprised he's fighting the former champion, and he's the betting favorite, which kind of surprises him. But this is a huge fight for Kenney. If Kenney wins this one, he knows he's skyrocketing up the bantamweight rankings. He can start calling his shots, but he knows Cruz is no easy task. He knows the footwork and the range and the striking is going to cause some problems, but Kenney thinks he has Cruz solved. We're then going to be joined by Phillips to preview his fight against Song Yadong. This is a under-the-radar fight. This one could be a fight of the night written all over. Song Yadong and Phillips both come forward, both really entertaining strikers. This is Phillips' biggest fight to date. This is a chance to get into the rankings. He's actually teammates with Kenney and Sean O'Malley, so he's gotten a lot of good looks for this fight, and Phillips is ready to go. He doesn't think Song Yadong will be able to hang with him on the feet. And to close things out, we're joined by Tim Elliott to preview his fight against Jordan Espinosa. This is a good fight. This is a fight that Tim and Jordan have kind of been going back and forth for quite a bit. Jordan used to train with James Krause. He left, and it's now Tim Elliott training with James Krause. So it's kind of a good storyline, but Tim kind of knows if he loses this, he thinks he could be cut. He's been cut before, so this is do or die for him, but Tim thinks he has the right game plan to beat Jordan Espinosa. Thank you all for listening. Be sure to share the show, subscribe, and tune in next week for another episode of Just Scrap Radio. All right, we're joined by the light heavyweight champ, Jan Blachowicz. Jan, how's it going?
All good. Thank you.
First title defense coming up. When you and Izzy fought on that same card and you both won, did you think this was a possibility?
No, after the fight, but 8 hours after the fight, I knew that they could make this fight, because they sent me message, do you want to fight against Adesanya in October? They sent this message when I was in the plane, when I'm back to Poland, couple hours later. So I knew that moment, okay, I think he's going to be my next opponent. And I said, okay, no problem, but not in October. March is perfect for me.
Yeah, because obviously you had the kids, which congratulations on that.
December, not October, December.
Yeah, but you obviously had the kids, so congratulations on that as well. How has that been?
Yeah, I am a father, happy father. It's something unbelievable, It's a great thing. I'm just happy, 2020 was the worst year for everybody, but for me, the best in my life. Yeah. So it's weird, but it's true.
And a lot of people thought Glover Teixeira should have got the title shot, especially after he beat Thiago Santos. Do you think if you get past Izzy, he is that next guy?
Yeah, I think so. He should to be, but this is not me who make the fight happen. I'm just sign the contract and do my job. So we will see. But I believe that he will be next after Izzy. But I don't think about my next opponent now. I'm thinking only about Izzy.
What do you make of Adesanya's UFC tenure? Because he's looked really good. Obviously, the Paulo Costa one was good. Whitaker, he showed the power, but that's at 85. 205 seems like a lot different of a problem.
Yeah, 205 we got different power, different timing. Everything is different. So we will see how he gonna fight in 205. For sure, he gonna be faster than me. But speed is not everything. I've got something for him. I prepare something nice for him, and we will see. I'm gonna be ready for everything.
I'm not sure you saw, but Adesanya and his team came out and said they're not going to add any weight because they think they're going back down to middleweight after. Are you surprised by that he's just going to fight at whatever he fights at 85?
I don't care about my opponents. Even if I'm fighting 205 guys, I don't care. They're gonna be, 220 in the day of the fight or 230. I don't care. I think about my weight, and I don't. It's not my problem. What weight he gonna have in the fight, I want to have something like 220, something like this, and that's gonna be perfect for me. And he can be, he can have 180 or 230. I don't care.
How do you see this fight playing out? Because obviously Adesanya is a striker like yourself, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I think your wrestling could be a factor here, just because you're going to be a lot stronger than him.
Yeah, we do a lot of wrestling, so maybe I will take him down. But like you say, I like fighting stand-up. Every fight starting stand-up, so we will see. But for sure, I'm gonna have chance to take him down. I will do this.
And if you get do you see yourself getting a knockout here? Because Adesanya is very durable, undefeated in MMA, but we have seen him get knocked out in kickboxing.
Yeah, I watched this fight many times, so maybe I'm gonna use my stand-up skills to and try to knock him out. This is one of my game plan. So we have to just wait to March 6th and see the fight.
And show him the legendary Polish power.
For sure, he's gonna feel it. For sure, I promise you, he's gonna feel the legendary Polish power.
What do you think a win over Adesanya does for your legacy? Because this fight, a lot of people think it's for him. He can become a double champ. But if you're the one to hand him his first loss, you kind of take a lot of his hype.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good for me. It's good matchup for me in sport way and in media way. I'm more underdog like always.
Yeah.
In this fight, but I don't care. So if I won, and I believe that I win this fight, so again I prove people I deserve for respect, and I deserve for I deserve for respect. That's it. Maybe a lot of people still don't believe in me. So maybe after this fight they'll start believing in me.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna mention. I think it'd be your last 10 fights. I think you've been the favorite twice, and one was against Jacare. And you've been you're underdog. You're a big underdog a lot of these fights. Why do you think the odds makers aren't giving you the respect you deserve?
No, this is not a question for me. I don't know. I just do what I best what I can do, and that's it. And, I don't know, but I don't care. But after I was underdog also when I fight against Rockhold.
Yep.
And one guy after the fight come to me in the hotel and he said, "Thank you, my friend, because you make me a rich man after the fight." And I said, "Why?" Because he won $50,000 on me, because so put money on me and become a rich man. So
yeah, you're 2-0 against the or I guess 2-0 because I guess Thiago was a former middleweight, but you've had a lot of success against these middleweights moving up. Do you just think it's a different kind of power, different kind of strength when these guys move up to 205?
No, everything is different. Our speed and time is different. You can train with heavy guys, light heavyweight guys, but in the fight, everything look different. So he gonna feel it in the fight. What I'm talking about.
You mentioned that you already know he's gonna be faster than you, but how do you just think that power advantage is going to be the difference in speed? Because really, speed isn't going to do a whole lot if you only need one punch to connect.
Yeah, I believe that I just did one punch and it will be over. We'll see, I'm going to be ready for everything, for wrestling, for kickboxing. We've got, good kickboxers, lighter than me. They are really fast. So also I've got heavy guys in my gym. I've got everything. So I'm going to be ready for everything what he prepared for me.
Have Joanna sent you any messages?
Not yet, but she sent me later. When fight, 1 week before the fight, I believe that she called to me and say something good. So I believe that she always do this. So this time she do this again. I believe that.
Are you hoping to share a card with her one day? Have you main event, she co-main event, both fighting for championships?
Maybe one day we will see. We will see. It will be great. Maybe they do this in Poland when everything back to normal. It will be great. Great event. See something like this here in Poland, in my country. Sounds good for me.
Adesanya is one of the UFC's biggest stars. Do you think the UFC is kind of hoping he wins this fight just because then it can set up that John Jones fight that they've kind of been pushing?
If they, so I'm just man who destroyed this plan, and they have to do something, different. Maybe this time they prepare something for me special.
I know right now the event says it's targeted for Vegas, but obviously that can change. Are you hoping it's in Vegas, or are you open to going back out to Fight Island if that's the case?
I can find it, everywhere in the world, but I'm ready. My mind is set on the Vegas, so I believe that it will happen in Vegas. I go there, 2.5 weeks before fight to catch the climate and stuff like this. So, and I like Vegas. I know that now city looks a little bit different, but anyway, we've got great canyon over there, great mountains. I will go also to Charleston Mountains, something like this, because I like mountains. So I've got something to do over there before fight. So I hope so. We're gonna fight in Vegas.
Smaller octagon. Do you think that actually favors you because it gives Adesanya less room to work around and move? Because he's obviously known for his footwork.
Yeah, it's I don't focus about it, but it's good for me. It's better for me that the octagon is a little bit smaller because he's fast on his legs, so I don't have to run to catch him. So that's a little bit better.
Your body kicks were obviously a big part of beating Dominic Reyes. Like, is that going to be still a big part of this game plan? Is going after Adesanya's leg and body?
Always especially my left leg. Even if I don't want to kick, I always do this. It's like I just God gave me this leg and it worked. Even if I don't want to kick and I see okay, I will kick anyway. So yes, for sure I'm gonna use it in this fight. It's not a secret.
You've headlined cards before, but this is the first time headlining a pay-per-view. What's that like for you?
Money.
Money.
Yeah, we do this also. This is something what I love to do. I like to do. Is my passion, but also this is my job, so it's important.
Everything goes your way March 6th. Like, when would that ideal next title defense be for you?
In the end of the year, not sooner. I am a father, so after the fight, I want to focus a little bit about my son and my fiance. She now she take care of my son. She don't sleep in the night. I have to sleep because sleep is a really important part of the training. It's really good recovery for your body. So I have to sleep. So she is the one. So then she don't sleep in the night. So after the fight, I have to take care of it a little bit more. So in the end of the year, next fight.
Are they coming to Vegas with you, or are they staying back in Poland?
My fiance, she will be there, but my son, he will stay in Poland. He's gonna watch the fight in the TV.
So what's the ideal year for you? Obviously, beat Adesanya, then defend against Glover, like sometime in the fall, winterish time.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Just a few more things. Something you've mentioned is going up to heavyweight. Realistically, like, when do you think that move is? Like, beat Adesanya, beat Glover, and maybe one more fight at light heavyweight?
I know that in future I will go to heavyweight, but I don't know when. I think maybe 2 or 3 years, and then I will go there, not sooner. But you never know what's gonna happen in future. So, but I believe that 4, maybe 5 fights in 205, and then go to heavyweight.
And after you knocked out Corey Anderson, you were supposed to fight John Jones. John Jones obviously vacated the belt. You were trying to get him back down to 205. Like, do you still think that's a possibility, fighting him either at 205 or heavyweight?
I don't think about John Jones anymore. Now he's a problem in heavyweight. They've got problem with him over there. If I go to heavyweight and will be still there, then I will start thinking about him again. Right now, I don't care.
All right, well, Jan, thanks so much for the time, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for this interview. Like always, pleasure for me.
All right, we're joined by UFC lightweight Drew Dober, who's returning at UFC 259 to fight Islam Makhachev. Drew, how's it going?
Fantastic. Just 3 more weeks of training and then fight week, and man, it can't come soon enough.
Yeah, you were obviously supposed to fight Diego Ferreira. That fight just kind of cursed, never happened. You end up taking on Alexander Hernandez last year. You're 2 fights last year. I guess you got the one against Nazareth and 2-0, 2 knockout wins. Like, what was last year like for you? Because obviously you didn't get those big fights that I'm sure you wanted, those ranked guys, but it's still a good year going 2-0.
Improvement. You guys get to see the 15 minutes I'm actually in the cage, but the entire year I was Improving, getting better. Man, I had Diego on my mind, who's a very solid grappler. So, man, I was trying to focus on my grappling and improve the holes in my game. And I just try to be a better and a more evolved version of myself than the last time.
And getting this opponent, like, were you surprised you're the guy getting Islam Makhachev? Because he was booked in a main event against RDA. Like, you're obviously lower in the rankings. Like, I thought they'd want to kind of keep that matchup or keep pushing him towards the title, because now Khabib's gone. I think they kind of want to give him that push.
In all honesty, I think he's a hard person to find a fight for. Not a lot of people want to fight Islam. He's got all that hype around him, and man, he's been on my radar since 2017. So, man, I've been eager to compete with him, and I just had the feeling of like they were looking for a fight for Islam. I raised my hand. And I said I would definitely fight him. So I think it was just him getting in the cage, and then me accepting the fight. And man, it was a great matchup.
And I know you're probably not thinking about it right now, but Daniel Cormier's mentioned it. I've talked to Javier Mendez, who's Khabib's coach, countless times, and they basically said Javier told me the only way they can see Khabib getting back is if someone goes out there and beats Islam and gets to the top. Like, is that a thought on your mind where you go out there, win it 1 or 2 more, and maybe you're the guy welcoming Khabib back?
No, I don't think so. To be honest, I think the brothers, and like, definitely would take Khabib if I beat Islam in a crazy fashion. But I'm just worried about Islam right now, and in my mind, Khabib's retired, and I don't think he's going to come back out of retirement to fight the current 16 ranked lightweight. So, man, it's just kind of humorous for me. But man, Islam's tough. So I have all my thought and focus is on Islam. And then after that fight, yeah, we'll see.
Islam Makhachev, 14th ranked guy, but I think a lot of people, especially the UFC, would have thought he would have been farther along. But just you mentioned, like, it's a hard time getting him fights. Like, what intrigued you so much to accept this fight? Because you've seen it. I think a lot of people don't really bring up Islam's name when they're calling out ranked guys.
Yeah, I think he's extremely tough. I think he has the ability to capitalize on the holes and the mistakes I have in my game. So this is just a proving ground for me and to everyone that, man, as soon as I beat Islam, I'm ready for everyone in the top 10 division. Islam, I think, is underrated. And, with a win over Islam, I know full well I can compete with the Michael Chandlers, the Dustin Poiriers, and all that stuff. So, man, I'm absolutely excited to showcase my talent and my abilities against the guy that's, touted to be the next Russian champion. So, man, I am super excited, and it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for me.
I'm sure you've probably seen it too, where a lot of people go, oh, this is kind of a hand-picked fight for Islam because Drew Dober, last time we fought 2 grapplers, got submitted. Like, is this a fight, a bit of redemption for you to quiet all those doubters that, hey, your grappling has improved?
It's also it quiets the doubts and negativity in my head as well. Like, yeah, it shows that I have been submitted in my last, and I've been taken down, and it's kind of like my holes. But man, I focus so hard on my holes and the way I fight that I focus on all of 2020. Preparing for Diego if that fight ever happened, and I'm ready to showcase that. And against Islam, I mean, he's definitely the one that's gonna show those improvements. And prove to everyone else. But really, I just try to prove to myself that, like, yeah, it all worked. It all paid off. And
Islam's not this like undefeated guy. He does have that one loss, and we saw it basically the way he lost with just that one punch KO. You have a ton of knock power. Like, is that a fight? Is that way you kind of see packed victories, just landing that one big shot, knocking him out?
I mean, if I want to devote all my energy and eggs into like just hoping that one will land, then I'm gonna lose that fight. But no, I'm thoroughly prepared that this fight will be a grappling match, and I can't avoid that. And I'm just trying to make his life uncomfortable for the 15 minutes that I'm in there. And whether it's with my hands or my feet or with my wrestling or my jiu-jitsu, my goal is to make him uncomfortable. And it's up to him what mistakes he wants to make in the cage. If he wants to leave his chin open, I will take that. But if he leaves his neck open, I'll take that as well. But yeah, honestly, I love getting the knockout wins for everyone. So that's definitely my plan A. But I have many other attributes that can win this fight too.
And when I talked to Poirier when he was fighting Khabib, something he mentioned was, he's like, look, I already know I'm going to be on my back, but it's about what I do once I'm on my back. Is that part of your game plan, is you're probably going to get taken down at least once in this fight, and it's about what happens once you get taken down?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that mentality, showcased why Dustin Poirier did so well against Khabib. He lost that fight, but I think he put up like one of the, the best, fights up against him. So yeah, you can't completely avoid a takedown. You can't just avoid wrestling. It's going to be a wrestling match with punches. And so I will wrestle, I will punch, I will look for the knockout. And yeah, if I'm on my back, I'm on my back, but I have my abilities there too. I've been in mixed martial arts since I was a teenager, so I do have some things on my back as well.
You have really good cardio too, especially training at elevation. Like, that's a big bonus in this fight because grappling kind of makes everyone tired, but at least you get the bit better the air up there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, I have all the resources and all the people on my team to constantly grapple with me. So yeah, conditioning is not going to be a problem in this fight.
Do you pay attention to betting odds that much?
Yeah, I'm the underdog, and it's exciting.
Yeah, I didn't. You're the second, Islam's the second biggest favorite on the card other than Amanda Nunes. Like, I don't really understand that. Like, I think he's good, but I don't think people are giving you enough credit and giving the respect you deserve.
Well, I have what, like 37,000 followers. He has like 4 million followers on Instagram. When the rankings are more so a popularity contest, I'm not surprised at all. Islam is far more popular than I am.
How do you see this fight end of it? Like, how do you see yourself hand raised? Obviously, like you mentioned, there's going to be takedowns. I think everyone's, I think is pretty safe to say you're the better striker. He's the better grappler. I think it really comes down to what he does when he gets you down, what you can do on the feet.
I mean, I see myself finding his chin, whether it's a TKO or a decision win. I see myself really getting the stride in the later rounds.
What do you think a win over him does for you? Obviously, it should put you in the rankings, but I think this win, more so than beating like a 15th or 14th ranked guy in any other division, I think it adds a lot more just because of his relationship with Khabib, his popularity. Like, it does more than beating just an ordinary 15th ranked guy.
It's going to increase my stock. It's going to get people to notice. It's going to give me opportunities to finally fight the top 10 guys. I've been kind of just falling underneath the radar for a while. And, man, I just want to be able to compete with, like RDA or Paul Felder or those guys. Like, I just want that opportunity. And, I mean, I don't want a quick shot to the title. I want fantastic fights. And the way to get fantastic fights, you just got to keep on winning. So a win over Islam is definitely going to open up the opportunities for me.
The smaller octagon, too, do you think that's a bit of an advantage for Islam just so he doesn't have to close as much distance?
I mean, I fought in a boxing ring, which is smaller. So, I mean, it's going to pose something. I don't know if it's going to be a benefit or a disadvantage for one of us. I mean, it's just different. I don't know if it's going to be better or worse.
Are you surprised this card is in Vegas? Because when they're building it, I'm like, this is a shoo-in for Fight Island. Like, you have a New Zealand guy and a Polish guy in the main event. You have like Peter Yan from Russia. You have Islam. Like, they're building all these like Europeans, and then they end up announcing the card in Vegas. I didn't really understand why it was.
I mean, I think they're trying to make this card one of the biggest cards of the year. Vegas is going to be more in their control, I believe. I'm not surprised I'm fighting in Vegas because I definitely prefer the closer city. But they're doing a big card in Vegas, and they want Islam Makhachev on that card, and they also want a guy that's willing to fight Islam. And so I'm sure that's how the fight, happens. Islam's bringing in the eyes, and then I'm just the competitor to make the fight exciting.
Do you think if the UFC had their way, they'd prefer Islam to win just because they're considering him this like next Khabib?
No. I mean, I think it's beneficial on the UFC on both ends. Islam has the backing, but I have the fantastic fights.
Yeah.
I think people are more interested in seeing how my fights plan out. But Islam has that like the unstoppable kind of record, And so he gets the decision wins and he has the following. I get the fantastic wins and I'm here to build my following. So I think the UFC is going to, really benefit from, either of us winning.
Just a few more things is obviously you get your hand raised March 6th. Like, it's obviously a big statement win. Like, how quickly would you want to turn this around? Because I wouldn't be surprised if you're fighting a top 10 guy too and later this year.
Main event in the summer.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what I want. I want to fight in June or July. Like I'm 2 fights a year is not what I feel comfortable with. I want more than that. And so I'm ready to get a fantastic victory, get on the mic, and start name dropping. And let's see who wants to take that fight as a main event in the summer.
You're no stranger to being the betting underdog too. Like, you were about the same size underdog against Nasrat Haqparast. Like, you've been an underdog other times. Like, do you does that add some motivation to you to kind of shut up a lot of people and prove a lot of people wrong?
No, I mean, I'm never an underdog in my eyes.
Yeah.
And my opinion is the only one that matters to me. And so, yeah, people can just think whatever they want. And honestly, I just love winning other people money. So bet on me on the underdog, and I'm going to win you some money for sure.
And I saw your guys' reaction to Corey Sandhagen's knockout. It was like, what, you, Neil, Curtis? Like, what was that like seeing that happen?
Oh, it's incredible. It's so much fun seeing the guys that you spend so much time with to get such a fantastic victory. And man, Team Elevation is as a family. Man, we support each other, and it isn't just beating each other up, but it's lifting each other. And yeah, just that was just a small video clip of constantly what we do every single day.
And just last thing, does that add a bit of confidence to yourself as seeing your other teammates put up these wins and put up these good performances, showing that like, oh, the training must be doing something right?
Yes, but I mean, I'm not Corey Sandhagen. Man, that guy's a monster. He does
Yeah.
real cool stuff, and so like I can't emulate that. But yeah, it is definitely fun to see Team Elevation finally getting the recognition that it deserves.
We won't be seeing the flying knee going out there then.
I mean, possibly, but Islam is taller than me, so I'm gonna have to work on my vertical.
All right, well, Drew, thank you so much for the time, man. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it too.
All right, we're joined by UFC bantamweight Casey Kenney, who's returning again. A big fight against Dominic Cruz. Casey, how's it going?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Obviously, you get the win last time out against Nathaniel Wood. Like, did you ever think Dominic Cruz would be your next opponent?
Not really. I knew somebody in the top 15 was probably going to be next, but didn't really think it was going to be Dominic. But when that name came about, no hesitation on my end.
Are you surprised he wanted to fight you? Like, nothing against you, but I thought at this point in his career, he'd kind of want those legend fights, like a Frankie Edgar, like an Aldo, like those big names. I didn't expect him to fight someone down the rankings for him trying to work his way back to a title.
Right. I mean, I think he still wants to prove himself and see if he still got it. And I'm definitely a guy to test yourself against. So I totally get where, you're coming from with that. And if you would have went that route, I would have totally, that would have been understandable. But, I think he wants to really test himself and, not just fight legends, but, fight one of the guys that's an up and comer. And, here I am.
And I don't know how much you pay attention to like betting odds and stuff, but you're actually the betting favorite. Like, is that kind of crazy to you? Like Dominic Cruz considered one of the best bantamweights of all time, and here you are as the betting favorite over him.
Right. It's it's a surreal moment, but still taking it as a normal fight. And honestly, I consider myself, one of the best bantamweights in the world. So rightfully so, I'm the betting favorite.
And you obviously Cruz returned after that long layoff against Cejudo. What did you make of his performance that week? So some people thought he looked a bit slow. Some people thought he looked like his old self. Like there's a lot of mixed opinions on his fight.
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. He had a little bit of little spurts of his old self, a little bit of spurts of being slow. But the way it finished with that knee, if they run that fight again, it probably doesn't go that way. So not counting him out. And he looked pretty decent in little bits and pieces of that Cejudo fight. So, I expect, a tough Dominic, but, I got a handful for him.
Yeah, obviously, you don't have to mention any of his like accolades, like all the UFC defenses he has, but he's obviously well known for his footwork. So do you basically just view this as a striking fighter, or do you expect to initiate some wrestling?
I would assume that the fight's going to go a little bit everywhere. If we stay up on our feet, that'd be great. Maybe I'll shoot a takedown, maybe he shoots a takedown, but I'm a well-rounded mixed martial artist, and I think I'm great everywhere. So let's see where the fight plays at, and I'll be ready for wherever it goes.
How do you see this fight playing? Because Dominic Cruz is one of those durable guys. Other than Cejudo, he's never been knocked out before. He got caught in the submission once to Uriah Faber, but like even Cody Garbrandt knocked him down several times and couldn't even put him away.
I think I put him away. That's what I'm aiming for. That's what I'm going after. Last couple fights, I definitely was going for the finish. Didn't quite get it done, but I'll see if Dominic Cruz can take the same damage that Nathaniel and Alatang took. Because that's what I plan on delivering.
Are you excited it's out in Vegas and not in Fight Island?
I did Fight Island. It was cool. It was a great experience. But now that I've already done it, did it twice, I think Vegas is a good place to go. If we only got the two places in the world that we're fighting. I did Fight Island. Vegas is a quick hour flight, so I'll stick with that one for now.
Smaller octagon in Vegas. Do you think that's going to play any factor in this fight? It just like kind of limits because he's known for using his footwork, using his range. Like it just kind of limits him a bit in that.
Right. I think that helps, in my favor. Dominic, like you said, known for his footwork, needs a lot of room. I can fight in a phone booth. I can fight in a big octagon, a little octagon. It doesn't really matter, but I think, that definitely plays into my favor.
What do you think a win over Dominic, especially if you go out there and put him away, like you say? Like, what do you think that does for you? Because although he's ranked 11th, like this is a former champion, a well-known guy. Like it means more than beating any other 11th ranked guy.
Right. He's it's like you said, one of the greatest of all time. For me personally, those are the type of guys that I want to get in fights with. You got the cream of the crop coming up in Sandhagen and, Rob Font, I guess Rob Font's been around for a while, but, all the up and comers, the new guys, Jan, the bantamweight division is exciting, but I think it puts me, right in the top 10, top 5. I jump right into that mix, start fighting those guys next.
I know you train with O'Malley a bit. How important has he been in this camp? Just because he's kind of similar to Krause, whereas he throws a lot of those same strikes. He uses a lot of the same footwork.
Yeah, O'Malley's got great footwork, great movement, and I've been getting some training in with him, of really all aspects of MMA, grappling as well. So big part of my camp for this one, and, glad to have him.
You had a very active year last year, like 4 fights. Not many people even got a chance to fight like twice because everything going on. Like, obviously, you get less fights as you move up the rankings. Like, ideally, like if you get your hand raised here, like when's the perfect time frame for you to return?
Summer would probably be realistic. Like I said, if there's opportunities, I'm always ready. I'm always down to fight. October last year was good to me. Just staying ready, being ready. People talk about doing those things. Not all of us get to do it, and not all of us are willing to do it. But we'll see what happens. Quick turnaround. Hopefully, summer would be an ideal time.
In LFA, you were fighting at flyweight. You ended up going to the UFC at bantamweight. Do you kind of finally feel like a true bantamweight now that you had time to bulk up?
Yeah, I do. I'm walking around bigger. It's bantamweight's now, a little bit of a weight cut too. And I knew it would take a little bit of time. I think we're pretty much coming up on 2 years since a little over 2 years since I've actually made flyweight. Just not making the weight, focusing on getting a little bit bigger, that takes a little bit of time. And, I feel like it's coming at the right time. And, I feel like I've been pretty much like this for a little while now and kind of settled into it.
In a 3-round fight, do you think that benefits you? Because Krause is so used to fighting 5. And in most of his fights, like he normally drops the first or second round because he likes to get a feeling out process of his opponent.
Yeah, if he starts slow, that's a bad move against me. I'm coming out for 15 minutes, guns blazing. I fought 25 minutes as well. I fought Brandon Royval in a super high paced fight for 25 minutes. Pretty much in a dominating fashion as well. So 15, 25 doesn't matter. I'll be ready. I bring the pace the whole time.
How important will your leg kicks and body kicks be? Just try to slow him down, especially if he is going back to his old southpaw, that movement.
Right. Kicks are a big part of my game, and we'll see how he handles them, but no need to change anything now.
What's it like being on this card too? Like this is probably going to be probably the biggest card they do. Like 3 title fights. Adesanya is a big star. Like you have the bantamweight title fight. Like there's a bunch of big names on this card.
Right. I think it's, right now, obviously the biggest pay-per-view of the year so far. It's going to be hard to beat that one. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we're kicking off the pay-per-view as of right now. So that's a big step for me. First time on pay-per-view, and why not against Dominic Cruz on a 3 title fight card. Doesn't get much bigger than that in the sport of mixed martial arts.
You're a guy, you've called out some people in the past, but do you think this is that perfect opportunity, especially if we went over Krause, to really call your shot and get a top 10 guy next time out?
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I'm always down for whoever, but let's see if any names come to mind on March 6th, then I might have to drop a few.
You're a guy too, like you put on really entertaining fights. Like, do you think that's why the UFC is giving you this opportunity? Like, you've kind of done them a few favors stepping up, and all your fights, like, there's no real boring Casey Kenney fights.
Yeah, I'm not really, putting any marks in there that they owe me anything, but I think just the stuff that I did over October and being willing to step up, again, even after the whole Fight Island thing, you get rewarded for opportunities that you take, and here we are. I'm going to capitalize on it.
I'm sure easily this would be the biggest win of your career, but like, what's it mean to you to be able to step in there with Dominick Cruz? Because I'm sure you kind of grew up watching him in like WEC and early UFC run.
Yeah, when I decided I wanted to be a fighter back in like 2011, I believe I was watching, the Faber Cruz one. I think it was like when he first actually defended his belt in the UFC. That was the time I decided I wanted to be a fighter. So watching him coming up, and now here we are about to fight him. It's something that I've thought about for a long time, and it's here. So make the most of it.
Is it hard to fight him? Because I've talked to some fighters when they're fighting like these legends where they kind of go like, I grew up watching this guy. Like, I don't want to hurt them, but at the same time, like, it's my job to go out there and beat them up.
Right. I guess I would feel kind of how Sandhagen would felt, but on the other note is if you sign the contract to fight me in that cage, it doesn't matter what you've done, who you are. I come with the same intentions, and that's to come and hurt you.
The bantamweight division is probably maybe the best division in the UFC outside of lightweight. Like, those are kind of 1-2. So how important is a win here? Because obviously it's a former champion, but this one gets you in the top 10, where if you lose, it's probably fighting an unranked guy because there's so many guys on the cusp of the rankings.
Right. I'm grateful to be a part of the bantamweight division. It's, like you said, considered one of the best in the UFC. That's a division that I want to be a part of. I don't want to be a part of a division that's just hanging in there, or a division. Nothing wrong with that. Just me. Bantamweight's hot, and I want to be a champion of one of the hottest divisions.
And something I want to ask you about is obviously, what do you make of Dillashaw, his return? A lot of people think, oh, he's getting that immediate title shot. Like, as someone in that division, like, would you be mad if he goes out there 2 years drug suspension, comes back and gets that title shot?
No, he was a champion for a long time. I think he should earn it. Just doing, being where he was. Maybe if he was injured and came back, but got to do your time. And but I'm not the matchmaker, so we'll let them do that. They want to give him a title shot. That's great. Hopefully, I'll see TJ sometime down the road too.
Is it a bit disappointing? Obviously, the biggest fight of your career, fighting a legend like this, that you can't have friends and family at this fight.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I was hoping for a crowd in Las Vegas, but they'll be watching, and I'll see them shortly after. So, pretty much the same thing.
And just last thing, like, what's the perfect 2021 for you? Because the win here sets you up for the top 10. Like, other than, like, you could easily get 3 fights in this year and be in that top 5 a year's end.
Yeah, you pretty much said it. If I could get 3 fights in this year, knock off 3 wins, I'm sitting pretty good for 2022.
Do you think you're kind of like a dark horse in this division? Like, no one's really talking about you yet, but I think this is the win where we're going to get you over that hump and people really start taking notice.
I think so. I think if they don't know the name Casey Kenney before March 6th, they will after. And there's a ton of guys in this division, and I'm just going to keep doing my thing, keep winning, and they'll soon know my name.
Well, Casey, thank you so much for the time, man. I really appreciate it.
For sure. Thank you, man.
All right, we're joined by UFC bantamweight Kyler Phillips, who's got a big fight on UFC 259. Kyler, how's it going?
I'm doing super great. I can't wait till March 6th. That's when I'm going to peak and shine and shock the world again. So I can't wait, man.
Yeah, this is a big fight. Song Yadong was someone I think the UFC had a lot of high hopes for. Like, he's Uriah Faber's protege. When you got offered this fight, like, what kind of went through your head?
Oh, it was just to pull the trigger. Let's go. When I heard that name, I was like, I want that guy. So, yeah, it's a good matchup for me. I think anybody's a good matchup for me. But at this point, I'm levels ahead, and I have a lot of elements to bring to the game that they cannot keep up with. And I just don't see it. You know what I mean? The guy's got a right hand and, some cool kicks and throws a 3-2. He sits down hard and he wants to bang. Cool. There's a lot of guys like that. And I can't wait to get my hands on him and to show him what's good.
Did you expect to get a ranked guy after your last fight? Because that was a really good performance, but I didn't like. I'm surprised they're giving you Song because you are a very dangerous matchup for him.
I was too. It was my second fight. I wasn't thinking right away, but this is a game of, just you got to be ready for whatever. You guys have seen even what's his name? There was Soto. Was that Soto? You got like a 1 day notice title shot in the UFC. Yeah, and then that was his first fight. So you always got to be ready for something. You know what I mean? And having this type of fight, I don't really see the rankings much. Like I don't really care about the numbers and stuff, but yeah, I'm gonna break in the rankings and have some fun.
Are you still doing work with like Casey Kenney, Sean O'Malley, and all them?
Yep, I just trained with them yesterday. Yeah. So
how big is that? Because obviously Casey's on the same card as you, and then Sean O'Malley's fighting like 2 weeks later, so you guys are all kind of peaking for that same date.
Yeah. It's cool to have like-minded people around you to play in the game, and you can get your head in the whole fight game of MMA and the 3 rounds and stuff like that, and having partners and around that also are going towards the same goals as you in the same division, in the same organization is really it's really cool to have. So it's kind of like it's like Power Rangers, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And with this fight against Song, like he's obviously a striker just like yourself. Like, do you basically expect this fight to just remain standing?
I hope. Whatever happens, man, I'm gonna bring it to wherever I want it to be, and wherever he takes the fight, he's gonna be on his heels, and he's gonna start to crumble, and he's gonna try to hit me hard, and he's gonna try to knock me out. And I can't wait for him to come forward and try to do that stuff, because that's exactly what we want. And that's what we're gonna start, playing the game, get him checkmate, and take him out.
Undefeated in the UFC, obviously he has that draw against Cody Stamann. But what have you made of his run so far? Because obviously he's looked pretty good, but the last 2 fights were kind of controversial. Like a lot of people thought Stamann beat him, and a lot of people thought Marlon Vera beat him.
Yeah, I mean, it is whatever, and I think that a lot of these fighters they're really good. They're durable. They fight with heart, and they have good technique and form as far as in their martial arts journey. But a lot of them are 1 or 2 dimensional, and I have too many skills to bring to the game to play their game. You know what I mean? There's too much that I have to offer, and why not? Why not be the champ? Why not be the best ever? Why not? You know what I mean? As long as I got breath in this body, I'm gonna go for the top. And it's like I'm not listening to what other people are saying. The rankings, this guy, that. I'm putting in the work. I've been putting in the work since I've been a kid, and I'm still gonna do exactly what it takes to make that, you know what I mean? And like, it doesn't matter what it's gonna take. And I've been taking my time, and I've been patient, but I'm not gonna settle for less. So I'm gonna use these times to capitalize and have some fun, and just do what I do and be Kyle Matrix.
And I think you have like a 3.5 or 4-inch reach advantage in this fight. So how important do you think that's going to be, where you can kind of just use that jab and not let him get inside?
Yeah, he's gonna come forward. He likes to sit down, step forward, and he's got that right hand. He's got a nice jab, He's got some good kicks as well, and that little reach advantage will help for sure. But I like to mix it up, and it's not just about the jab. It's about so many different levels of distance that I will create, and on those opportunities, there's going to be many, and one of those things are going to catch him.
Your cardio is obviously a really strong part of your game. Like your UFC debut, where you went 3 hard rounds. Like, do you think that's going to be a big factor, where you can be the one pushing a hard pace over 3 rounds?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it cardio. It's I push myself physically, and it is part cardio and the heart and my lungs, and I can push there. But durability and endurance, mentally and physically, I'm gonna just push him and push him and push him, and he's gonna try to come, and he's gonna start to fade. He's gonna get pushed. He's gonna get taken down. He's gonna get cracked. He's gonna elbow. He's gonna knee. He's gonna be at an angle. Then go boom, boom, boom. and all these things start to just a roll ball effect. He's going to be behind. He's going to get it behind again, and that's when I'm just going to start implementing my game plan. I'm going to say, come on, Song, you want to come? Let's go to the sea. Come on, see if you can swim with me. Take him to the deep water. Okay. Oh, what's wrong? You can't swim? Okay, let's come to the Rocky Mountains, all right? Let's see if you got balance. Well, oh, you falling off? You can't play this game? You can't play this game? All right, come on. Let's go fly. See if you can fly with me. Oh, you don't have wings? What's wrong? You know what I mean? And if he does, he tries to bring it forward that element of he has his his things down, and he's putting me in check. I'm gonna one up him every time, and yeah, it's gonna be fun, man.
You look at your career too, a ton of finishes. Like, do you think this is another fight where you can get a stoppage win? Because beating Song Yadong is obviously a big win, but finishing him is like kind of that next level.
Yeah, I'm ready to finish him in the first, second, or third. I'm ready to beat him by decision. I'm ready for any type of fight. But the thing is, once I'm plugged in there in the matrix, like I'm mentally there. My focus is going to be there, and that's where I'm going to stand out.
What do you think a win over Song does for you? Because obviously he is ranked, so you're obviously going to get a number beside your name. But like this is a guy the UFC has a ton of hype behind.
I don't really care. I think this win is everything to me right now. But whatever happens, whoever I fight, I'm just gonna continue to be prepared, and I'm gonna take those opportunities to rise to the top, and the timing will tell. And yeah, I mean, he's a good guy. I'm not looking past him at all. He's looking completely straight at him, but as a human being, there's some abilities and skills that just can't be overlooked, and I'm taking my time,
What's it like being on this card? Because this is probably going to be the biggest. Yeah, what's it like being on this card? Because this card's probably the biggest one they're going to put on this year.
Yeah, actually, I was like the second fight, and then they changed it. Now I'm the sixth fight, so I'm right before Casey and Dominic Cruz. So that's like, it's a pretty cool fight. And then right after their fight is the main card. So like, it's cool to be on this type of card, and there's gonna be a lot of eyes, and that's why I'm really excited to go on this and just have some fun and try to compete with those guys too. You know what I mean? Like, all right, Dominic Cruz, you wanna fight after me? Let's do it. You wanna see some footwork? Let's go. You know what I mean?
Do you think you're gonna have a call out after this fight? Because there are some bantamweight fights on this card and coming up where a win over Song, especially on this card, they could put you right in a good spot to call someone out.
We will see.
Yeah,
we will see.
Do you think a lot of people, your UFC fans, still don't really know much about you? You've only had 2 fights. Like, do you think this is the fight where you kind of put everyone on notice?
I do believe so. So 100% I believe so. This is the fight that I'm going to show a lot, showcase. But at the same time, I don't really care at all. Like, they're like the fans and stuff, they're going to be there. Like the people, the base, they're going to be there. You know what I mean? As long as I'm doing my part and know who I am as a champion, it doesn't matter what type of audience, because those are not my audience. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. But this fight will definitely put me on the map as a higher rank for sure in the bantamweight division.
Are you glad it's in Vegas and not going out to Abu Dhabi again?
Man, I really liked Abu Dhabi. I had a lot of fun out there. I actually got this Abu Dhabi hat, man. Look at this. Ooh. Yeah, it was a sweet time out there, and I was actually just kind of clowning around. Even when we were doing the COVID, we did a 48-hour what's it called? COVID lockdown or quarantine, and the hotel. And like, I was getting bored, so I'd me and Marcus and I, we started going to the different rooms and started ding dong ditching the people in the hotel, getting our coaches, getting a bunch of random people. And then I almost got caught a couple times where I just would go ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. The guy would run out and try to catch me. And there was these big, I think they were Polish, some big Polish dudes. And I was I got caught, man. It was fun though. So yeah, back to the thing. Yeah, it's gonna be cool in Vegas as well because I can bring my family out there. and some of my friends can hang out, and after we can celebrate.
Just last thing, like obviously this sets you up March. Like when's that ideal time for him to return? Like what's this perfect year for you? Because you beat Song, like you could easily get a top 10 guy next time out.
Yeah, you never know. Just like I said before, you stay ready and don't. But at the same time, be smart. Don't just like go crazy and get injuries and fight. Like fight, take your time. Fight, take your time. And if you're too patient, you're not gonna like. There's never gonna be an opening. You might have to make that opening, And so this will have to be one of those. And if you're just going all the time, you might burn yourself out. So I think kind of playing a little bit, feeling it out, and whatever happens this year, hopefully, get closer and we'll break, top 10 for sure.
All right, well, Kyler, man, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
All right, my man. You have a good day.
On that one.
All right, we're joined by UFC flyweight Tim Elliott, who's returning at UFC 259. Tim, how's it going?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries. Obviously, this fight against Jordan Espinoza, this is one that's been in the works for quite some time. Like you two have been calling each other out. Like to finally get the chance to fight him, what's that like for you?
I mean, we were already supposed to fight. We would have been on the 16th on the Abu Dhabi card. So he got COVID and it got pushed back. They were trying to kind of coax me into taking another fight. But originally when I took the fight and they booked it so far out, I immediately said, like, man, that's so far out. He's got a lot of time to pull out. I don't know if I want to take it. They kind of reassured me saying, like, hey, he's backed into a position where he has to take this fight. So I was like, okay, let's do it. And then he got COVID and they wanted me to fight a different person. I can't remember who the backup guy was. And, my coach Krause was kind of like, man, we said this was going to happen. We predicted it. And you guys said that, no, he was going to be put in a position. So I was like, is he going to be penalized? What's going on? Is he going to fight somebody else if I fight this guy? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, well, if he's going to get to fight somebody else, I would just soon push the fight back. Like he shouldn't get a free pass. If he's going to fight anybody in the UFC, it should be me. I waited already to fight him. I didn't want to wait that long to fight him anyway. But I waited already and then he got COVID. So it got pushed back again. And I'm just lucky enough to have a good team, my management team, my coach, like they're doing all this stuff for me. So I don't have to do anything. I just heard this, secondhand. So I got the fight. I got an extra long training camp. I got more time with James Krause and the team here, more time to acclimate to being in Kansas City and not in Las Vegas and in the cold now from the dry heat. And, things couldn't be going better, honestly.
Just so we're recording this like 3 weeks out. Are you still a bit worried he might not make it to March 6th?
I feel like, there's always that possibility. That's just part of the game. So it's always in the back of your head. But no, I feel like it's close enough now. Like we're ready to go. Both of us, we got to be there. He needs this as much as I do. And let's be honest, like I could be a bad matchup for a lot of guys in the UFC, but my consistency hasn't really been there. I haven't proven that I can win several fights in a row. So he's in the same boat as I am. Like we're not going to find any better matchups for each other. So we both have to take advantage of this opportunity that we have. And he's in the same position. So I feel like he's going to come to fight March 6th and we're both going to be looking for a paycheck. And this is a good fight. I feel like to bonus in and I'm ready. We just bought a new house here in Kansas City, so we could use the money.
Is this a fight? Like, do you generally dislike him, or is it just like more about just finally getting a chance to fight him just because of him pulling out?
No, I have no dislike for him. Honestly, when I first started talking about coming back to Kansas City, he was here training and the fight got offered. And I called James Krause like, hey, what do you think about this fight? And James was like, oh, he's actually here training. So, James is one of those guys, like he's loyal to the people that are there with him training. And I hadn't been there for a long time and the fight didn't happen. And then when I moved to Kansas City and the fight got offered, James was like, yeah, you got to take the fight. And I was thinking maybe he was still that Jordan was still going to come to Kansas City. And I was thinking I would just soon have him as a practice partner. I could fight a bunch of different guys. But then James said, no, he had his chance to come to the team. He didn't come. So that's the fight that we're taking. Has nothing to do with anything except for I think it's a good matchup. And we're positioned close to each other. He got beat by David Dvorak, and that's a fight I would like to have next. Or the winner of Joe B. Askar Askarov, or the winner of Kai Kara France and Rodrigo Bontorin. They're both fighting on the same card. Like I want to fight and stay active. I'm running out of time. I feel as good as I've ever felt, and I want to be active now. I want to hit that 3, 4, 5 fights, and this fight being moved back to March has already kind of put a damper on that. So I'm just eager to get in there and get after it.
A silver lining of this fight getting moved back, is it that there's 2 other big flyweight fights on this card that your timelines would then match up with theirs?
That, and it's a bigger card. I mean, there's title fights. Megan Anderson's fighting. Adesanya's fighting. It's a big card. I mean, Joe B's earlier in the card than Kai Kara France and those guys. And he's the number 3 guy. There's a lot of work happening in the flyweight division, and I'm lucky to be put on that. And so yeah, the time frame couldn't be better. And it's in Vegas. It's not in Abu Dhabi. Although I feel like that would be an advantage to me. I've already fought out there, but I have a house in Las Vegas still. I have work to do there to transition back to being in Kansas City full time. So it's all kind of happening perfectly. It couldn't happen any better. And my fiance has a fight late April or right around there, so it's nothing set in stone, but we have an agreement with that. So we're gonna be busy.
What have you made of Jordan Espinosa's run in the UFC? He's 2-3. He's been submitted twice. It kind of seems like right in your wheelhouse, where if you get this fight down on the ground, there's probably a good chance you can submit him.
Yeah, I mean, but say the same about me. Like we've had that kind of win 1, lose 2, win 2, lose 1. It's kind of there's a little bit of a pattern there, but I think my inconsistency with winning and showing up and performing has been my consistency with coaching and training. Like I'm on a set schedule right now, and I have somebody pretty much telling me what to do all the time, like when to eat, when to do, when to train, when to hit pads, when to do strength conditioning. And it's nice to get back into that fighter lifestyle. So I'm put in a position now to where I don't see where I'm going to lose this fight. He doesn't have the power, I don't think, to knock me out. He doesn't have the submission skills to submit me, and even if he did, I don't think he could take me down. So I feel like the odds are just stacked in my favor. I'm going to put a significant amount of money on myself to win this fight. I'm investing in myself. I think this is a tailored matchup for me, and I'm lucky enough to have a guy who coached this guy briefly and knows a lot about him and knows a lot about the game. And I'm really prepared for this one.
Yeah, because I know you're big into the gambling. Same with James Krause. Are you guys both going to put a lot of money on yourself then?
I mean, I can't speak for him, but I know my family is investing in me to win this fight. And I believe right now the odds are even. So
yeah,
if you get in right now, that's a good bet.
How do you see this fight playing out then?
He's good. In the first round, man, he's really fast. He's athletic. He's explosive. So I'm just going to try to make everything like technical on the get up, technical on the feet. I'm used to going in and scrambling with these guys, and the late Robert Follis, before he passed away, and I was working with him, he was like, man, you do so many good things, but he said, you scramble like hell to get on top, and then you scramble like hell to get on bottom. So you 50-50 position in fights like 3 or 4 times in some of these fights. And at the highest level, you can't really do that. And now, like, that's not happening. I'm taking guys down. I'm getting on top of them. I'm staying on top of them. I'm not scrambling. I'm not falling off for stupid submissions. I don't know. I'm just kind of, I feel like my fight IQ has gone up so much, and I'm like growing up in the sport finally, where I've been like one of those guys where it's like, oh, I'll fight anybody, anytime, for any amount of money. And like, that's so damaging to the sport, because, it makes it hard for guys to make money fighting when guys will just do anything. And now I'm not doing that. I'm not taking those risks. I want to get my show and win money. I don't want to just get my win money in a fight of the night bonus or risk that gamble. I want to show up, make weight, and win. That's the easy money. That's how you have longevity in the sport, and that's what I'm looking at now.
James Krause too, one of the best coaches, the best minds. It's kind of crazy. I've talked to so many ranked welterweights, and they always say if Krause wasn't a coach, he'd be a top 10, top 5 welterweight right now. But how important has he been in this change to Kansas City? Just his mind. Like, I don't know if there's a smarter coach out there than him.
Yeah, and it's not just smarts; it's about work, and he puts in the work. He's not it's not like Vegas where they got good guys flying in and moving there every day because the Performance Institute's there. Like nobody's moving to Kansas City because there's a PI here or because of the weather. Like it sucks here. It's 7 degrees. Like it's shitty snow on the ground. There's cars in the ditches everywhere. Like James is building guys that aren't good. He's making them good and getting them into the UFC, including me. Like he got me to the UFC, and then I left to Las Vegas, and then now I'm coming back. I didn't win a fight in 3 years in Las Vegas, and now I was back 2 weeks, and I'm winning fights. And yeah, who knows how good of a fighter he could be if he wasn't coaching, but it doesn't matter what it is. He's the guy. He's going to occupy his time with something, no matter what it is. It doesn't have to be fighting. I'm just lucky enough that it is fighting, and I'm one of those guys that he's occupying his time with, because he could probably be making millions in the stock market if he wanted to, but he doesn't want to do that. He wants to create a world champion, probably more than he wants to be a world champion. And I don't even think that's in his wheelhouse. I think he wants to have exciting fights and win fights, and he wants to coach world champions. But I don't think like him being UFC champ is like one of his goals. I think he's reaching his goals like slowly, and he's climbing that ladder every day. And again, he's occupying his time with something no matter what. And I'm just lucky enough that right now it's fighting, and I'm one of the guys that he's putting that time to.
Well, yeah, because I've talked to James so many times, and he the common thing he always says is, if I don't fight again, I don't really care. Like he says he's not ever going to book a fight on a full camp. It's only going to be short notice whenever he has time. And he even said he doesn't care about rankings or a title. He'd rather see guys like you, like Grant Dawson, get to a title shot and win a title.
Well, he can't. He don't have the time. Like he held pads for me and 5 other guys yesterday, and then he leaves today for Julian Marquez's fight. Yeah. And he'll be back once a week for Mondays to train people. And then he leaves every Tuesday for 5 weeks in a row, all the way past my fight. So like he's only going to be here 1 day a week for the next 5 weeks. And on that day a week, on Monday, he's going to be scheduled, 10, 12 guys to hit pads with and go over game plans with. Like I don't know how he does it. He's on his phone, helping, videoing, teaching practice, flying for guys' corner. How he does it, I don't know. And he has a wife and kids. Like he's putting it out there.
And obviously your fiance Gina Mazzani picked up a big win last time out. Like how much confidence does that give you, seeing because that was her first time at Krause's gym, right? And seeing how much success she had.
Yeah, well, not only that, is like she needs somebody she's such an emotional fighter and person. And like I was trying to coach and be the boyfriend and all that, and it wasn't working. And you would come down here and James is like, hey, you have to do this. And you're going to go down to 125 pounds. And like, I don't even think on the index at the PI that it said that she could make 125 pounds, but she had like a 15-week training camp almost. She got with Tyler Minton, the Melee Way. He's a nutritionist. She did a diet for 10 weeks and she made 125 pounds easier than she made 135. And she had a 6-pack, and I've never seen her with abs before. And then she come out and she had a great fight. And yeah, seeing her have the confidence in herself and the coach gives me a lot of confidence, because I'm a pretty easy guy to persuade. I see the team going at something, I'm like, I'm all in, let's go. You have to convince Gina though. And she's convinced, and that makes it easier for me to be convinced.
Just a few more things is, what do you think a win over Jordan does to you? Like we mentioned, there's some big flyweight fights on this card, and you're obviously a big name. I think a win here, the UFC is going to get you one of those top guys.
Sorry, say that again.
Well, what do you think a win does for you here?
I think I'm like 11 or 12, so a win here puts me right into the top 10. And like, I'm not looking past Jordan at all. I know he's a tough fight, but if I can't beat Jordan, then I don't belong in the top 10 or the top 5, and that's where I'm aimed at. So I feel like this is one of those fights where the UFC can kind of shed some weight here. The loser is probably going to get cut. So like, that's good. That's good for me. That's good for the UFC. We need the guys that can compete. There's not a lot of room they cut a lot of really good guys already in the weight class. So the only guys that are left are pretty good. So I feel like if I can't win this fight, then I don't really belong. So it might be time to hang them up. But I'm not ready yet. And I feel like they're starting to get rid of some guys. a win here will put me right into the range where I can get, Dvorak, or I would really like Askar Askarov again. I feel like I was in shape for that fight, but I didn't have a good game plan, and I'm prepared to beat that guy now. And I would really like to get that rematch.
Well, yeah, even with flyweight, what's crazy is they cut Brandon Moreno like what, 2.5 years ago?
Exactly.
And he's almost won the UFC title. But just last thing is, obviously, the flyweight division is kind of wide open, like we've talked about. So what do you like? End of the year, where do you see yourself? Because I wouldn't be surprised if you're sitting there with a single-digit number beside your name.
Honestly, I feel like if I can reach my goal, this is the first time I've set any goal, and that's another thing with Krause. Like, he's making me set goals and like all this shit that I didn't do when I was younger, and I see these successful people doing, and I just kind of brush it off. Like, I'm doing all that now, and I'm putting successful people all around me, like not hanging out with people who don't have their plates on their cars up to date and don't have insurance, and like, coming in practice hungover. Like, I'm not with that demographic. I'm hanging out with people who are, putting money in the bank and making money outside of fighting. And I see myself as being successful outside of that. And it's taken a lot of pressure off me. But I feel like if I can win the 3 fights that I want to take this year, there's no reason why I can't be knocking on the door at whoever's the champ. I don't think it's going to be, I think it's going to change. I don't think that the champ at flyweight is going to stick around too long. I think it's going to alternate a few times. So as long as I can get in there one of those times and luck into a slot, I've done it before. I may not be one of the best guy in the division, but I know on any given night I could beat any of the guys. So who knows? I might get that strap before the year's over. I mean, or sooner. It's changing right now. Like you said, it's wide open, and it could be 3 or 4 different people coming up. There's no Mighty Mouse in the division right now that's going to hold it for 8 or 9 times. I don't think. And especially almost had it already.
And especially with COVID, like, you might not even be booked for a title fight and easily can slot in there.
Exactly. Now's the time. And being active is, man, if you want to make it to the UFC, right now's the time. If you have your medicals done and your blood work done and you've won a couple fights in a row, like, there's no reason why you can't be in the UFC right now, because people are falling out every week.
All right, well, Tim, thank you so much for the time again, man. I really appreciate it.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Anytime.